Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn how to make the most delicious and spicy oven roasted lamb shanks with veggies. This recipe is really easy to make. I'm going to use baking oven for this dish through and through. Firstly, the ingredients required for this dish are lamb shanks. I'm using 2 shank pieces today, finely minced ginger garlic, olive oil, paprika chili powder, vinegar, lemon juice, 7 spice powder. This is a Mediterranean spice mix which gives a really good kick to this dish. You can substitute it with any garam masala if you wish. Salt and pepper. Now for the veggies today, I'm using chopped onions, carrots, some corn, cup of diced tomatoes, 2 potatoes and some chopped green bell pepper. The amount of each vegetable we use in this recipe greatly varies depending on our personal preferences. So let's get started. Here we have the lamb shank pieces. As you see, I have already cut and cleaned these pieces. You can see the incisions on it, which makes marinating a lot easier. So let's keep this aside and make the marination sauce. For that, you can take any bowl or a cup like this one. Add 3 tablespoons of olive oil in it. So I'm going to use a measuring spoon and add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So that makes 2 and another 1. You can substitute olive oil with any other cooking oil. It is not going to make a big difference. And to this I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt. Next we are going to put in the paprika chili powder. I'm going to use about 3 to 4 tablespoons of chili powder because this is what makes the dish really spicy. If you're going to substitute this with any other chili powder, it's totally fine, but make sure you don't use 4 spoons because it is going to be too spicy. Maybe 2 spoons is more than enough. As you see, I didn't use the measuring spoon, but if you want to be sure, you can just measure it and add it in. And to it, I'm adding a tablespoon of pepper and a tablespoon of garam masala. This is the 7 spice mix I was telling you about. It is a Mediterranean spice mix and it gives a really good punch to this dish. I'm going to add about 4 to 5 spoons of this mix, and as you see, I'm not measuring it because I'm sure about it. If you're going to use a measuring spoon, then this takes about 4 to 5 spoons exactly. To this dry mix, we are going to add some ginger garlic. I'm going to finely chop these ginger garlic pieces. As you can see, I'm using equal amounts of ginger and garlic. So for 2 small pieces of ginger, it is 2 cloves of garlic. So let's start mincing them finely. Once again, if you want to use ginger garlic paste, it is totally fine, but I would prefer mincing them because it gives a stronger flavor and taste. So once the ginger and garlic is finely chopped, I'm going to use half a tablespoon of each into the marination sauce. So as you see, I'm using half a teaspoon of minced garlic and then follows half a teaspoon of minced ginger, and the remaining portion we're going to keep it aside for later. So let's keep this aside for now and focus on the marination sauce. It's almost done. To this we are going to add 3 teaspoons of lemon juice. So here goes 3 teaspoons of lemon juice extract. Lemon juice actually gives a very tangy flavor to this recipe, and I am adding 1 tablespoon of vinegar, white vinegar, and we are going to give it a nice whisk for about 2 to 3 minutes. After a few minutes of whisking, if your sauce comes to this, then it is ready. So let's just whisk some more. At this stage, you can check the taste of the sauce. I must tell you, it is going to be a bit tangy, but that is totally fine. Yep, it's good to go. Once the sauce is ready, it's time to marinate the lamb shanks in it. For this, I'm going to use an oblong baking dish. As you see, it has a lot of space around the corners so that we can add our veggies later. So let's place our lamb shanks in it. On this, we are going to pour our marination sauce. But before doing so, give it a good whisk so that the spices are not settled to the bottom of the cup, and then gently glaze it over the meat. After that, make sure the meat is well coated with the spice mix. I'm using my hands as you see, but you can also use a spoon or a fork to do this. Once it's done, just leave it aside for 10 to 15 minutes. After about 15 minutes of marination, the lamb shanks are ready to be baked. As you see, I have added some paprika and pepper powder on top of the meat. Now it's time to add in the veggies. First, I'm going to add 1 cup of finely chopped onions. And to it, I'm adding a cup of diced carrots and some corn. Now the time has come to add the remaining minced ginger garlic and a cup of tomatoes. Adding tomatoes makes sure that the other vegetables are not burnt or overcooked. To this I am adding 2 potatoes cut into quarters. And finally 1 coarsely chopped green bell pepper. So that's it. Wow, at this stage it looks really colorful. And to this I am adding a pinch of 7 spice mix, especially on the veggies so that it may absorb some spice. As you can see right now, I am adding a bit of olive oil on all the 4 corners of the dish, just making sure nothing gets burnt at the bottom. Right now I am adding about 1 cup of water to this recipe because I would like to have some broth. If you don't want it, you can reduce it to half a cup of water. Finally, with the spatula, make sure all the veggies and the meat are well soaked in the spice mix. I'm doing this just to make sure the spices are evenly coated in all the veggies and the meat. So let's turn over the meat to the other side. As you see, the spices are thoroughly mixed, so it's time to get this dish in the oven. Wow, look at this, how colorful and yummy it looks right now. Let's start baking. This dish takes about 2 hours of baking time. So I'm going to cover this dish completely with an aluminum foil and cook it for about 1 hour on each side. And at the end, I'm going to broil this meat for about 10 minutes on high flame to give it a good roasted texture. Once you firmly wrap your dish like this with the aluminum foil, it's time to preheat the oven. For those who didn't know, lamb takes a longer time in the oven, so I'm going to set the temperature to 450 and cook it for about 1 hour. So let's preheat it. So this is the oven we are going to use today. As you see on both the sides, it has begun to preheat itself. As the oven gets heated up, spare me a moment to tell you there are many more interesting videos like this one in my channel. Do check it out guys and click on the subscribe button to stay tuned to Sometimes channel. Getting back to the video, as you see, I am pouring a jug of water in an aluminum foil pan and I am going to keep it in the lower shelf of the oven like this. Whenever you slow cook a recipe for more than an hour, the chances of the dish getting burnt is really high. This is just to prevent that from happening. So as you see, the dish goes inside the oven and we have to cook it for about an hour. Exactly after 1 hour of cooking, I have taken the baking dish out and as you see, this has been half cooked. So I am turning the meat over like this and the other one like this. It still has some water in it, so there's no need to add more. So just cover it and cook it for another hour at the same temperature. If the water in it has dried out, it is better to pour a little water and then cook it. While the lamb is getting cooked, I have made rice pilaf to go with it. After cooking the lamb for another 1 hour, remove the aluminum foil and broil it in high flame for about 10 minutes to get the roasted texture. And that's it. Here's your oven roasted lamb shanks with veggies. The lamb is roasted, the veggies are well baked and there's broth. Wow, this looks exquisite and trust me, it tastes wonderful too. Do try this at home and comment your feedbacks below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Sometimes channel. Thank you for watching.